What's going on, guys? I figured we're about due for an update on the single cab. Still crunching on some stuff here before Pro Touring Truck Shootout in a few weeks. So I've been up at the shop most mornings, just tying up some loose ends on it. So this morning wrapped up the track spec heat extractor install on the HD hood. I don't believe anybody has done this vent style on this hood. A lot of guys use like the C10 style, but I was looking for something a little bit maybe more aggressively profiled and not quite as large. I got these put in and tried to center them directly over the hot sides on the turbos. Trying to get the heat out from under this hood. I mean, everything heat soaks really bad and the charge pipes get hot and IATs start to creep on it. So working on that, and that was to complement wrapping a little bit more of the hot sides. I had a little bit of the downpipe exposed where it made a tight radius, and I also had the turbines on the turbos exposed. I didn't have any sort of turbo blankets on them, so put turbo blankets on it, wrapped the rest of the downpipes, which actually helped quite a bit, just with radiant heat soak onto like the coolant hoses there, and mostly the issues on this charge pipe. See how close it was to the hot side there. So doing the blankets helped a lot. I'm sure that the heat extractors will help tremendously, both probably with regular cooling as well as just getting some of that turbo heat out from under the hood. So truck was on the dyno Tuesday, Dr. Tuna Mall, punching some keys on it. We only got one clean pull. The rest of them, we were fighting issues with spark blowout. To be honest, we might have even been fighting a little bit of issues with spark blowout on the clean pull because it kind of dipped on power a little bit on the graph. So I'm not going to talk about what it made yet. It is turned way down for Pro Touring Truck Shootout. I'm only on 6 pounds, 17 degrees of timing on the 85, and it made more horsepower than we expected it to make, even tuned with it detuned. So it's strong. It's definitely going to be a runner, but had to address the plug wire issue. We were cooking plug wires on the dyno. Trying to cherry rig stuff up here just to get it to run right, but you can see we were just baking them. Ultimately, you know, I'd like to do a coil relocation on it. That's what Nate suggested. But for now, what I'm going to do is build some wires that come off of the coils in 90 to the back and wrap around the back side of the turbo headers and kind of go underneath the header, in between the header and the downpipe. So they'll come in from the back side here where you see that heat wrapped wire and work forward, and then we'll run 90-degree boots off the plugs, keep everything tight to the cylinder head. And I think that'll live for a while until I have a little bit more time to fabricate up some coil mount brackets or figure out where I'd like to relocate them. So that's on the immediate agenda. I'm hoping to maybe get boost control on it before the event. I'm waiting on some parts for that. I want to have a dial in cab that I can change on the fly, but I don't know if all the parts are going to make it on time or if that's going to be something I can fit into the build beforehand, but that's on the agenda. Got to swap on Falcons, trucks on Toyo R88Rs. Those are not class legal for anything at Pro Touring Truck Shootout. They require 200 tread per tire, so Falcon just released their RT660 pluses in the size that I run, so 305, 35, 20 squared on all 4 corners. So we got to get those mounted up. Have a little bit of rubbing on the sway bar at full lock, so I'm going to try 1/4 inch spacer on the wheels just to see if it sets it out just enough to clear that sway bar, because it doesn't rub that hard, and I have enough clearance offset wise on the wheels to come out just a little bit, so I'm going to give that a shot. And I did extended studs on the back, so while I've got the wheels off on the front, especially since we're going to run spacers, I'm going to go ahead and press in ARP studs, 3.5 inch studs on the end of the hub assembly. So I'll pull the brakes off of this and knock that out while we're waiting on tires to come back from the tire shop. So aside from that, it's mostly tying up loose ends. If I can resolve the spark issue, that was the biggest thing. Obviously, we want it running as clean as it can run at the event. And looking to go out there and meet some of you guys and have some fun. I guess put the fire extinguisher on the harness bar mount. That's new. It's a little messy in here from dyno day, but quick release extinguisher just on the harness bar there. Always a good idea to have that on anything you got modified fuel system on, or anything really. You know, you never know when you'll need it, but if you need it, it's good to have it. So doing that, that's mostly it. I have a enclosed trailer that I bought for this truck a long time ago, back when I thought that I would be racing it and never really got around to it, and was using the enclosed trailer for other stuff. So brought that back home, had it up north Florida. So brought it back home last weekend, did bearings on it, new tires, polished it on the outside because it was oxidized, and maybe we'll get a little paint on the inside so it's ready to take this thing to Kentucky. So that's basically what I'm looking at. I got maybe 3 weeks to work on it, I guess 2.5 at this point. So kind of coming down to the wire here, especially because I can't dedicate full days. I just have to kind of fit in work where I can. So once once we get these last few checklist items knocked out, then we should be ready to run. I'm not really planning anything for the truck ahead of that. I don't want to get out and beat on it and break something else. So, I feel like it's done a pretty good job proving itself. It's been out on the road, put some miles on it, did some pulls on the dyno, did some pulls on the street. Everything is holding up right now, especially with it turned down. Obviously it helps when you're making less power to keep things alive. So hopefully we'll go out there and be able to run the full event, no problems, or at least minimal problems that I can address on site and have some fun. Like I said, meet some of you guys, and I hope to see you out there.